right, folks. Today I want to talk about something that honestly has been on my mind a lot lately here in Florida in 2026, and that's these AI data centers. Now, I know that might sound like a weird topic for a homesteading channel at first, but honestly, I think this conversation matters way more than people realize, because when most people hear the words AI data center, they picture the big computers, those NASA-style computers, from the 80s, technology, robots, artificial intelligence, the apps, the various apps, the chat bots, those deep fakes, those kind of things. But what a lot of people don't honestly realize is these facilities require absolute metric, crazy ton, massive amounts of electricity, land, infrastructure, cooling systems, and you guessed it, water. Okay? And here in Florida, where we already deal with hurricanes, droughts, rapid population growth, infrastructure strain, those rising housing costs, the rising power usage, I honestly think it's fair for regular families and homesteaders in general to start asking some real questions. So today, I'm going to talk about how this is not about fear or panic. This isn't some crazy conspiracy stuff, because this is all very real and very happening. It's a real discussion about growth in general with these data centers, technology. And by no means am I against it, but what does it mean for Florida's future and overall preparedness? Especially with rural communities and homesteads moving forward. One thing I think every Floridian notices now is just how fast the state is changing. And honestly, it's happening unbelievably quickly. Everywhere you look, there's more traffic, more development, more warehouses, more apartments, more neighborhoods, more people moving here. Areas that used to feel rural suddenly feel crowded, right? And look, growth itself is not automatically bad. People are moving to Florida for the weather, right? That freedom, that sense of freedom. We have a big, the politics here is favored by many. Opportunities in Florida, right? The land. What kind of taxes do we have in Florida? You tell me. They're pretty great, right? Homesteading in Florida. I digress. Retirement in Florida, if that's your thing. I get it. I understand why people are coming here. But eventually, that growth is going to create pressure. One thing I've noticed as a homesteader is that rural land is absolutely disappearing fast. Places that used to be just purely woods, orange groves, farms, pastures, those quiet country roads, them back roads, those 2-lane roads, windows down, loud music, they're becoming developments almost overnight. Really. And now on top of all of that, artificial intelligence is absolutely exploding this year. It's an everyday part of businesses, phones, schools, hospitals, the media, social media, your search engines. It's everything. It's basically everything. And if you think you're getting away with it, I got a sad story. I got some, dirt to sell you. It's AI, it requires infrastructure behind the scenes. Okay. Most people never actually see said infrastructure, but these AI systems run inside giant facilities that are called data centers. Okay. They're massive buildings that have servers, cooling systems, network equipment, and non-stop power demand. These aren't little office buildings, guys. These facilities are multi-block. They are huge. And honestly, this is where I think homesteaders really need to start paying attention. Because eventually, people begin asking, okay, so where is all of this power coming from? And this isn't just a Florida issue. This is happening nationwide. AI is dramatically increasing the electricity demand everywhere. We've already seen the hikes with the hurricanes we had, and now they're talking about adding data centers to Florida. Air conditioning in Florida, the population growth, the tourism, the business, the heat, not just the hurricanes. Now you want to go and add giant AI infrastructure expansion on top of that? Honestly, I think it's a little fair to ask. Can infrastructure keep up long term? Really. Because homesteaders already understand how fragile systems can be sometimes. We've all seen the power outages. We've seen the fuel shortages. You know, you see the prices, the hurricanes, the internet outages, storms wiped out before the storms, the crazy toilet paper scares we had. Modern life depends heavily on stability, stable systems in general. One thing preparedness teaches you is that redundancy matters. Never rely completely on one thing. Another thing people are discussing more now is water, because cooling these massive facilities can require huge amounts of water depending on the design. Honestly, here in Florida, that's a sensitive topic. Water matters, especially lately. We've barely had any rain here in Central Florida this month. We're coming up on the rainy season. Guys, we are in a big rain deficit. Everything is dry, the ponds are low, grass is stressed, gardens need constant water. I think many homesteaders are honestly asking, as Florida keeps growing, how much pressure gets placed on our water systems? Again, I'm by no means am I saying that AI is evil. Okay, it's not. I'm not saying technology is bad. Okay, I just hope it's used in a good way, right? We use technology. Most of us do. Growth always comes with consequences, though. That's the problem. One thing I worry about sometimes is Florida is just really losing too much of that rural identity. When you think of the South, do you even think of Florida? Because once land gets developed, you know, it usually doesn't. It's not going back. You know, it's there to stay, especially Florida. I think a lot of homesteaders feel this. You know, those less open lands, the fewer farms, the orchards. You don't see the orchards are few and far between nowadays. You know, more pavement. I wish we had more roads, though. You know, that's one problem. We're not getting the roads made for this development. We're just getting the more congestion. We're getting more pollution, more light pollution too, more noise. Eventually you start to realize, man, Florida is changing fast. But at the same time, technology's not stopping. AI is probably going to become even bigger moving forward. I just heard a crazy article that Elon Musk mentioned within the next 2 years, it's going to be smarter than any human regarding any topic within the next 2 years. So the real question becomes, how do we balance growth while protecting our families, our agriculture, the rural life, our water? God bless our water systems, man. Our power reliability, and our local communities. Honestly, that's why I believe preparedness matters more than ever in 2026. Not because I think the world is ending by any means, and it's not because I think people should panic. We're not about that life, but because modern life is becoming increasingly complicated. The more dependent society becomes on giant systems, the more valuable basic self-reliance becomes, right? That's one reason I love homesteading. Even on a small property where you have 2 or maybe half an acre, you can do it. I'm telling you. You start to learn gardening, food production, that animal care, water management. Please work on that water management. Please learn how to compost. It's not hard. It's amazing what it does. I'm actually showing you guys right now the opposite of what an AI data center looks like. You see this bananas with this compost? I made it quiet for a second just to embrace nature. Okay, preserve that food. We got to learn, even on a small property, how to adapt that to that weather. Those skills matter. I think younger generations are starting to realize it too. I really do. That's why I think homesteading content is growing in general. People are craving that simplicity. I think people are smarter about their food choices, you know, the chemicals and stuff, what they're spraying on the clouds and the sky and on your crops. People are getting smarter. The dyes in your food, you know. People are craving a sense of community and real life and slower living, especially in a world becoming more digital every single year. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think faith matters a lot during these times, whether it's fast, rapid times or whatever, you know, because the world can start feeling overwhelming. Technology changes, news changes, everything moves fast. You know, walking around this property, feeding the animals, walking outside, you know, growing food. It reminds me of what actually matters. Family, faith, community, and being grounded. Sometimes it's really hard to be grounded, and I get that. No matter how advanced technology becomes, people are always going to need water, food, land, believe it or not, people, your family, purpose, and a connection. So personally, what's it mean for homesteaders? Well, with these data centers, I'm going to tell you to keep learning some skills, stay informed, do not panic, prepare reasonably, value your land, value your water, build a community, and stay adaptable. That is the key. Florida homesteaders especially need to pay attention. That water conservation, your backup power systems, get a generator, get into gardening, your food systems, your emergency preparedness, wildfire awareness, get a fire extinguisher if you don't have one. Learn how to use the land you have, even if it's only a little bit, because this state is evolving very quickly. So let me know in the comments, guys. It helps us out. Do you think that AI data centers will affect Florida in the future? Do you think the power usage, the water development, and the infrastructure could eventually impact homesteaders in rural communities? I think it's affecting everybody. Are you guys seeing changes too rapidly where you live? If you enjoy real conversations, Florida homesteading, preparedness, gardening, rural life, self-reliance with faith in there, because God bless, He is the reason. Honest discussions about the future. Make sure you please subscribe to our channel here, DiamondTrail Ranch, because we really do appreciate every single one of y'all being here with us. I want you to please stay prepared. Put some seeds in the ground, put them in a solo cup. Start with a tomato or two, and we'll see y'all in the next video.